Now, I know I do a lot of these, but this is a particularly fun 49ers update. Yes, Brock Purdy will be returning against Jacksonville. He's off the injury report. But look at this catch. We're going to call it the catch 4 from Memo Escalante. That is a 49ers equipment staffer. And today he was in the spotlight in the red zone, and there was some question after I had posted this on X about whether or not he got both feet in. I can confirm in 4K that Memo got both feet in. Fade pass from Brock Purdy into the corner of the end zone. What a catch, a ton of air. Yes, we are calling it the catch 4. Anyway, back to the leading story. Yes, Brock Purdy ready to go for the 49ers on Sunday off the injury report. Kyle Shanahan said that it was a great sign that they were even considering him to be the emergency third quarterback last week. Well, Brock Purdy is going to be the first quarterback this week. Mac Jones actually is questionable, was not able to do as much as Brock Purdy in practice this week. Did have the sleeve on his left knee still today during practice. Now, of course, we're going to get to the sign stealing discussion and Jacksonville. Duval. But first, we've got to talk about the 49ers injury designations for Sunday. Both receivers, Ricky Pearsall and Jauan Jennings, officially listed as questionable. Good news on that front is that Jauan was indeed back out at practice Friday. Remember, 2 weeks ago when he did play against the New Orleans Saints, Jennings only practiced on Friday, which is the same pattern as this week. The difference is it's an ankle injury this time. It was a shoulder injury back then. Also listed as questionable, Mac Jones, Connor Colby, the left guard, who's dealing with the groin issue last week that he suffered on Thursday ahead of his starting debut in the NFL, and Renardo Green, who's got a neck issue. We saw him at the start of practice working off on the side. If Renardo can't go, Darrell Luter Jr. will be the cornerback who steps in as cornerback 2. And then Chase Lucas would step into the cornerback 3 role. And it just so happens that I talked to Chase this week because, well, he had a special role with the 49ers last year, and he helped use that to morph into who he is this year on the 53-man roster. Let's listen into Chase Lucas in that 49ers locker room.
All right, so Travis Hunter's coming to town. Yep. And it reminds me of last year. You're doing a lot of scout team stuff, and you said, Travis Hunter of the 49ers.
Had to, man.
What was last year, and are you doing any of that this year, or now that you're on the 53, is it different?
Nah, it's different. It's different now. Last year was a grind, man. It was, I had to go be on scout team on defense, and then as soon as the offense came on, man, I would have to go do scout team on offense. I was a running back. I was a wide receiver. I was a corner. I was a nickel. I was a safety. I was everything you could possibly say, bro. So I feel like me just saying that was just kind of shouting out Travis Hunter as well, but also just showing I can do whatever it takes on the field as a skill player.
From a conditioning standpoint, how tough is it to not have a breather in between any of this stuff?
I ain't gonna lie, it make you feel like you built different, honestly, man. Because just going and seeing people getting water and you going to the next station, man, going to the next position, it's kind of, I don't want to say terrible feeling, but it's one of them feelings like you just got to gut through, bro. So I see what he be doing, man. I got to give it to him. For him going both ways and playing at a high level, that's some serious business right there.
Now, when you're playing offense, you know where you're going to go. When you're playing defense, it's obviously more reactionary.
Right.
Does defense take a little bit more out of you for that reason?
No. I feel like offense, because there's only one ball, you know what I mean? So there's dudes that, you got to set up dudes for routes. So, if you got a clear out route, you're running 40 yards down the field to take 2 guys, but you're not getting the ball. So I would say, man, it just depends, but when you out there on that island, man, you playing man-to-man, that's one of the things, boy.
You seem to show up here into 2025 in great shape. We talked about your preseason. You made the 53. How much do you credit what you went through in 2024 to get you ready to play?
Oh, man, I credit it big time. I even tell the coaches that all the time. I said thank you for, all the trials and tribulations that I went through last year, and then I think that made me who I am this year, and I just feel like I'm a better player because of it. But, just being during the preseason and not having Stout and any extra nickels and me taking all the reps, I think that kind of set me up for success for this year too.
And then finally, what's your favorite part of Travis's game?
I love him as a receiver, bro. I really do. I know he does a lot of option routes with this offense, but I feel like he's very elusive, man. I think once he gets the ball in his hands, he can do anything. He can cut. He can get a hard physical 4 yards. I like him at receiver for sure.
So Travis Hunter, definitely going to be worth watching here at Levi's Stadium on Sunday. Just finishing up the 49ers injury report, Jordan Watkins with the calf and CJ West, who had thumb surgery this week, have both been ruled out for San Francisco. All right, now to the main topic of discussion, sign stealing. I made a whole video about this in the morning, as is very often the case, the media, fans overreacting. You know what I said earlier, that Robert Saleh was just trying to sow some doubt in the minds of the Jaguars, and Kyle Shanahan essentially confirmed that that's what Saleh was doing.
Yeah, I think it's very common. I think he was trying to give him a compliment. I think when the word sign stealing is used in a long compliment, that can sometimes go the wrong way. But I think he was just really good. They're good at what they do. Everyone tries to do that to a degree, so they're good at it. And I think he's more just letting them know that we know.
And then Kyle Shanahan delivered the final zinger.
We don't need to do that. We truly believe in being fair in every aspect.
Like, bottom line, people need to stop overreacting to things. The 49ers and the Jags are both going to try to glean every single legal advantage that they can get. I'm actually more curious about the signs that Kyle Shanahan is going to be stealing from Jacksonville's defense in this game, because I actually think that is the more important matchup on Sunday. Jacksonville's defense, number 2 in the entire NFL. Although they have not faced a great offense yet, but number 2 in EPA per play. They've got a really good pass rush. They have led the league with 7 interceptions so far. And yes, Brock Purdy is returning for the 49ers on Sunday. This is quite the test for him coming off of the toe injury. The 49ers trying to run the football better. Some things have to happen in order for that to be possible. They do not have George Kittle back yet, which is an issue for this defense for sure. Remember, Kittle scored the long touchdown at Jacksonville a couple years ago where it looked like Purdy was throwing a grenade out of a bunker. But I do want to highlight the full circle nature of the whole Robert Saleh, Liam Cohn thing. Remember, the biggest piece of drama of this 49ers offseason came when the 49ers were trying to get Robert Saleh back as their defensive coordinator. And Robert was a candidate for the head coaching vacancy in Jacksonville. And for some time there, it looked like Saleh was the favorite for the head coaching vacancy, because Liam Cohn, who actually ended up getting that job, was coming over from Tampa Bay. He had committed to stay with the Buccaneers. But then in that big-time reversal after the Jacksonville Jaguars fired Trent Baalke, Liam Cohn changed his mind and took the job instead. So Robert Saleh didn't get it. Now, another full circle overlap. Remember that Robert Saleh played the Minnesota Vikings in the final game before he was fired as the head coach of the New York Jets back in 2024. Also remember that Robert Saleh mentioned that some of this Jacksonville staff that engages in the sign subterfuge, the sign stealing, the legal sign stealing, came from Minnesota. The offensive coordinator of Jacksonville is Grant Udinsky, who was with the Vikings last year. So you've got the connection between Saleh and Jacksonville when Liam Cohn got the head coaching job over him, and you also have the connection going back to Minnesota last year, the final game before Robert Saleh was fired as the head coach of the New York Jets. They lost that one to the Vikings in London, and Woody Johnson, who is the owner of the Jets, apparently was very upset that his team lost in London, because he used to be the ambassador from the US to the UK, and he didn't like seeing his team lose in front of some of his British friends. So all kinds of drama, but this is like a full circle tie to the full circle story of Robert Saleh returning back to the 49ers. And now Saleh is talking about some of the gamesmanship going on. The Jacksonville Jaguars in that McVay tree are going to be looking to expose the defense however the 49ers can, and I think it's very clear that Robert Saleh wants to sow some doubt in their minds. As Kyle Shanahan said, he was just letting them know that we know. It comes down to that. Not any more complicated than that, but it's fun to track some of the history here that is at play before the 49ers face Jacksonville at this stadium on Sunday. I think it's going to be a close game. I think the fact that Brock Purdy is back for the 49ers means that San Francisco is going to be able to go over 20 points in this game. I think the offense needs to start heating up for the 49ers over the course of this season. Do I think they're going to be fully back? Well, they don't have all their weapons back yet. I think George Kittle is extremely important. Tim Ryan was saying all teams are going to go through 5 crises over the course of a season. And he said, obviously, the Nick Bosa ACL tear is one of those, but losing George Kittle to injured reserve after week 1, another one of those. So the 49ers still have to find a way to make do without just a key offensive star who interconnects so many parts of their game. I will leave you with one piece of really, really good news. Nick Bosa underwent surgery today in LA. Dr. Neil Elatrache, who's a specialist in those knee repair surgeries, performed the procedure. And according to Kyle Shanahan, the coach heard that Nick Bosa's surgery went very well. So Nick is going to undergo the first couple of weeks of his rehab down in Southern California. Then the 49ers expect him back here in the building to help impart some of the knowledge on the youngsters who will face their next test as they try to make it to 4-0 on Sunday against Jacksonville. Levi's Stadium should be rocking. The 49ers going to be wearing white jerseys again. This time it's the standard white road uniforms with the gold pants for the 49ers and the Jaguars. Those of you who have listened to the very end, well, maybe I sneak in a prediction right now. I'm going to give one a little bit later in another video, so you have to promise that you watch the next video. But the prediction here is 49ers 23, Jaguars 20. We'll talk to you soon. Meanwhile, enjoy Brock Purdy playing Joe Montana in this simulation to Memo Escalante with the catch 4. Duval.